Hey everyone, welcome to another video brought to you by the Manoa Medieval Combat Club. So in previous video we made a basic club, so now I'm going to make a basic sword. Okay, and I'm going to make, this one is going to be a little short, but you can take the techniques that I go through, you can use to make a longer sword if you want. This is just what I have. This is a 2 foot piece of 1/2 inch fiberglass core. Fiberglass rod. I've marked out 2 inches for the pommel, 5 inches for the handle, and so math 17 is this length. But that 17 inches is not going to be my total blade length because I'm going to add a bit before even the 2 inches for the stabbing tip. I'm going to have like maybe another inch for security to make sure that this doesn't pierce through anything and hit somebody when they get stabbed. Ironically, I don't want people to get hurt when I stab them with this. So what you're going to need is tape measure, Sharpie, knife, utility knife, or just a regular knife you can cut with. Rope and electric tape are both good for the handle. Hot glue gun. You can use epoxy if you prefer, but hot glue gun is quick and easy, which I guess so is epoxy. DAP contact cement. I've got this for measuring and a straight edge. For covering it, you can either use a sock or duct tape. So I'll decide what I want to do when I get there. Also for the handle is chopsticks. And what this is going to do is that I'm going to hot glue them here so that it makes it a little easier to index. Indexing is the ability to hold a weapon and know where the blade is just from the feel and not having to worry about it twisting in your hand. Tile foam, and I've also got yoga mat and a glue camp pad. So I've got the hot glue gun going, so I'm going to take the chopsticks. Now I've already got a couple that I cut out like left over from another project, and so those are going to go on the handle. And you notice they're short, but that's okay because you see where it comes down here, it's kind of gonna fade itself into the handle anyway. The important part you want that shape is for the top, where your hand grips. So I'm gonna start with that. And just take some glue. Okay, just to get a good feel. Okay, now I'm done with the hot glue gun, so I'm going to put it away. So this tile foam is used for like carports and garages. You can line your floor with it, but it's also, I'm pretty sure it's also called EVA foam, and so it's good for cosplaying, making costumes, or props and stuff like that. So what I'm going to do for this, I'm going to take my straight edge and I'm going to measure 2 1.5 inch strips because this is 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to also cut out 2 1/2 inch strips that are going to go on the side. Yeah, so I'm going to put 2 strips here and then 1 to kind of cover it on either side to make it like a sandwich. So I'm going to do that now. Okay, so I've got my pieces cut out. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take this DAP, and it's a fat wad, and then just peel it off. Nice and clean. Okay, now that I've got my pieces cut up, I got the puzzle piece bits cut off, I'm going to mark up 2 inches from this end and then cut that off and use that for the pommel. Okay, now I'm going to cut 18 inch out of this. Now that I've got the core covering for my blade and the pommel, and I'm going to apply the dap to the textured side, and that's because if you finish in duct tape, it adheres better to this side than this side because this side is a little slick. Okay. I'm also going to apply dap to basically all the way around the blade and pommel side because eventually it's not going to matter what side everything's on. Alright, I'm going to have to dap everything anyway. I should have listed a clamp on the initial list so that you can clamp it like that and then just hang it while it dries, and it'll drip dry if it needs to drip. That way it doesn't, fall on anything and get dap everywhere. I'm also going to take these two pieces, I'm going to put dap on this side here and then the adjacent edge side, the neck, one of the sides basically. And that's because when I apply it, I'm going to put it down like that, and then I'm going to put the core in so that it will stick to this side and the base, and then I'll put the neck side in so that both sides all stick together. Close it and let it set for 15 minutes. Okay, hammer's done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this one. Make sure I have the right side. Beware of contact cement, because if you get it on your hands and it dries and you touch other dried out contact cement, it will stick. So I'm going to do that first. Carefully make sure that my handle is, so that the face and the base are facing each other. And same thing for the pommel. Let it sit. This piece, and put it here. And this piece, and put it just like this. So now I'm trying to get both simultaneously, so I'm bringing the corner in to the corner. So squeezing, pressing down. So before I move on, I've got this little gap to fill. So I'm going to take one of these puzzle pieces and some scissors, and I'm going to just put this like that and shove it in there. And I'll trim this down. Actually trim the top here a little bit. Then cut off the angles. That fits perfectly like that. So I'm going to need a sharp thing. So I'm going to take this little piece here. I'm going to take the screw. I'm just going to screw it in just enough until it holds. Okay. That way I can dap all 4 sides, well 5 sides really, because the bottom is going to attach to the top of the fiberglass core. Okay. Now I'm just going to set this, add a little bit more dap in here, kind of rehydrate it. Then I'm going to dap all up and down here, and then I'm going to dap these sides, and then when everything's dry I'm going to slap it all together. Timer is set, and now I just play the waiting game. Okay, so nice and dry. These very carefully, I'm going to spread this open a little bit so it doesn't immediately stick to everything and ruin it. Alright, like that. Close it up nice and tight. Take the screw out because I need that. Base. Take this in. Alright, so this part is done. I've already cut out, both of these are not cut to blade length or round, but they are the thickness. Okay, so this is 1.5 inch cut for both of them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of them. I'm going to cut each one a piece with my scissors. Now, important note, okay? So you see how it's not flat, okay? It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't. It just doesn't. I like things to be perfect, but there are times where you're not going to achieve that, no matter how much you try. And really, effort to outcome-wise, it's not going to make a huge difference. Now, if it's really, really screwed up, maybe you take your knife and trim it down, but this is exactly perfect for what we need it for, okay? And in fact, I'm going to cut out 2 more of these. So I'm going to use these to end cap this pommel bit. So I'll set those aside for a second. Take my dap. I'm going to dap up these tip bits. So, as this is drying, I wanted to explain why I'm adding to the tip when I'm also going to put a blade on it, and it's going to wrap around the top here, is to increase that stabbing tip, because when you hit like this, you've got this sort of hinge action, and so that takes an amount of force away from the blade. But when you stab, you've got your whole body and your arm going into that, so you need a little more cushion on your stabbing point. Same thing for spears and arrows. The way blades work is when you swing, it puts all of that force onto this tiny little edge, and then that's what causes a cut. So normally I do 3 layers of foam, but the reason I'm not doing that is because this is so fat, this edge, that it has a lot more surface area to disperse the force. So it doesn't need as much padding, and that's why I'm doing that. Now time for it to dry. So, take this bit, put this here, this one here, this one like that, and this one like that. Now, just to assist the rolling over, I'm going to trim off this corner. Okay. In fact, I'm going to do it to the bottom too, just because I want the bottom to be nicer. Okay, so that's the tip. Slash cut. Get it? It's like smash cut, but slash cut because you get it. So this video ran a little long, so I had to cut it up into little bits. So I hope you enjoyed this bit because it's over, and maybe go check out the next bit. And if there's no next bit just yet, maybe go check out some of my other videos. Maybe watch those in the meantime. Thanks for watching. So like, subscribe, all that stuff, and comment, all that fun stuff. So